Hello, everyone, and today I'd like to talk about a very interesting book. It's called The Big Leap. And this book talks about very important ideas and how important it is to conquer our biggest fear to achieve whatever it was in our life, to really prosper, right? To really express ourselves fully towards our full expression of whatever it is that we're here on this earth to do. And we want to be really passionate. So, um, um, Gay Hendricks, which is the author of the book The Big Leap, talks about four quadrants where we can be in. There's a quadrant of incompetence, competence, excellence, and genius. So, incompetence means that we are not very good at something. We lack the ability or the capacity or the skills to do a certain task. So, we're not very good at it. Competence means we're good at it. We can do it. Okay, we have the skills to do it, and we do it like most people. So you can think of it as if you're average. Excellence means you're best, you're better than most people. So this is a good zone to be in. That means you're doing it better than most people. So you're pretty good at something. You definitely have the skills. But genius, which is the last quadrant, and Gay says that we need to actually take any task to the next level into the zone of genius to really to go all in towards full expression. And so genius is when you're born to play. It's your dharma. You're here to do this, right? It's when your deepest strengths match your passions. So it's what you're here to do. You really have that passion to do it, and you also have those hidden strengths. You just have to unpack them. You have the ability to also get it done. You're born to do this, right? And it's like you made a deal or a trade with the universe for you to to do it for you when you came to this planet. It's something that you have to do, right? That you have to get done, right? um it- um and you can do it. That's the whole point. That's when you made this deal. And so, as Deepak Chopra says, what one can be must be. um right? Or I forget who said that quote, but what one can be must be. So we have to play in the zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks mentions in The Big Leap. So if we can do something, and if it's part of our dharma, we must do it. In fact, that should be our top priorities. And that's where Stephen Covey's four quadrants, we have four quadrants here too, we have to be able to say no to things that are not important. We talked about this idea previously, because it's not what you're here to do. So there are priorities that you have to determine, right? Your top values, etc. And that's why goal setting and having that tension, as Viktor Frankl mentioned, between what you're here, between where you are now and where you want to become, having that tension in terms of where you want to become, your goals, is very important, right? So yes, you have to live here in the moment, kind of as we talked about, in the flow state, really being focused on whatever task you're doing, and really having fun with joy and diligence and persistence. But that should be towards achieving some sort of goal, and you can of course enjoy the process while you do it. And what are some upper limits that can limit us to prevent us from actually getting into that zone of genius? Well, this include things like fear, where you can't really get rid of fear, but you can actually breathe into it. And that's one thing that he says, you have to actually make friends with it. And excitement is literally fear, but fear is literally excitement without the breath. So it's like you're excited about something, but you hold your breath, you don't breathe. And so breathing deeply is one thing that you can do anytime that you experience fear. And so fear is pretty much excitement. So getting rid of it is pointless, but rather you should make friends with it and actually start breathing. And then in terms of worry, he also talks about worry in his book, where worry is useless if you actually can't do anything about it. And if you can do something about it, then you can take action. And actually, we're living in a generation of technology where soon everything will be kind of like possible. And so, but at this point in time, if you cannot get something done, I just have kind of like a futuristic mindset. So I think that eventually we'll pretty much be able to do anything we want to be able to do. But where we live in right now, if you're worried about something that's really inevitable or something that you can't control at this point, well, then worry becomes useless. And so I think the main idea of this book is to understand that you want to be in your zone of genius. You really have to know um, that thing which you're made here to do, and then try to tackle it. And it's like we all have a happiness set point and we want to kind of raise it, just like if we have like a thermostat, right? We can actually adjust it based on our everyday habits. And so again, you want to stabilize kind of any breakthrough that you have by integrating into your life. Some people kind of have a breakthrough, they learn so many distinctions, but unless you actually build them into habits. So what are some good habits that you can do, whether it's exercise, meditation, or sleep? You actually have to integrate them into your daily lives, and this is very important. I always mention it. You actually have to do those things, because if you don't actually apply them, well, they're useless. And we had this idea several times before. Then if you don't actually apply it, it becomes useless. You can get all this information, all those distinctions from a variety of books, but you actually have to put them into practice. So think about what is your zone of genius, specifically what is the task, and that's the goal. You want to get into that zone of genius. That's what Gay Hendricks says, and that's the book, The Big Leap.